Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today's topic for the occult family is the what. And this is short for what are you thinking? And I'm going to preface that by talking about the following topics. Now, what's become trendy is gentle parenting. Trendy because I say that basically it's just a metamorphosis of what was being dealt with pediatrician Dr. Benjamin Spock in the mid 40s, who was one of the advocates of getting rid of spanking children and made his transition in 1998. But towards the late 60s, he also said that some of his findings were egregious. They were wrong. But when he did try and put out another book, it didn't sell as good as the first one. And he was talking about how young people should really challenge the machine or authority. Well, step up now. Whereas he was talking about not spanking children. Basically, gentle parenting is like, don't even raise your voice to children. Treat them more or less as a person, and a lot of times as your equal, which is insane to me. Equality, as I've said, is a myth. There's merely balance and mutual respect and appreciation. So if you don't raise your voice to children, you're extremely patient. Here are the cons of gentle parenting. It will lead to a sense of entitlement, which we already have in this country with some young people, but they will also learn not to have a voice. They'll be passive aggressive and timid and submissive. And this is exactly what the state wants. They don't want you to be a threat, because if you're non-threatening, you're not going to resist, and it's going to be business as usual. And once the mask of the state is removed, that's when you will see true fascism. And that is exactly what they want. Now let's fast forward to the so-called loss of Herschel Walker. Love it. Stand up, Georgia. I knew you couldn't let this, go through. But they were talking about abortion. And some pundits like to point to religion. Okay, you want to point to abortion. Exodus 21, verses 22 to 25. And there's a difference. Now, if a woman miscarries or she's unintentionally harmed, you get a fine. But if you do abortion, which was always around during the times of Hebrews as well as in Kemet, if you did an abortion, if you took a life, even if it's a child, you had to give one, preferably yours. So that scripture could be twisted for pundits who are pro-life as well as those who are pro-abortion. You can take it how you take it. Then you have when people say, well, that was the Old Testament. But the ideological boogeyman, that would be me. Just when you thought it was safe to sleep with the lights off and not check your closets or look underneath your bed, I'm back. So if you go to the New Testament, in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17, even Yeshua or Jesus says, I have not come to change the law of the prophets. I have come to fulfill. In other words, I ain't changing nothing. Period. I'm just going to make sure that things come to fruition. So you can't use the New Testament. And then there's the argument, and we always have it, about this is the greatest country on earth and how we get to do all these marvelous things. Marvelous things like what? Voting for who's going to be your new master when it comes to president. You got to remember, you don't decide anything. Okay, the Electoral College and the corporations does that. So you have to be very clear on what's going on. Come on, troglodytes, keep up with me. So when I say, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You're not thinking. You're reacting. And that's what they want. And then they're going to overstimulate your senses. Wake up. So when I say the what, that's exactly what I mean. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery for the day. I am the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.